American English poetry is a great way of learning English with excellent ideas for life. Here is one poem, The Psalm of Life, by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Let us talk about this beautiful poem so that you learn both English and your literature knowledge becomes excellent. How should we live life? What is the meaning of life? And how young people can be inspired to live a better life. This is what the famous poem, A Psalm of Life, by the American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow tells us. This is a very famous poem. Very often small children recite it in schools because it's a very musical poem where you have alternate lines rhyming with each other. If you want to learn to talk in English about philosophical topics, then here is a poem which will help you. If you are a student of literature and you want details of this poem, then of course, again, this video will be very useful to you. This poem has 9 stanzas. In poetry, each division is called a stanza. So we have 9 stanzas here, and each stanza has a particular aspect of life which is being spoken about. So I will read out to you stanza by stanza also. But first let me tell you what these 9 stanzas are about. The first one talks about rejecting all negatives. If any negative comes to your mind, then please get rid of it. The second is that life is not meaningless. Life has a purpose. So you have to find out the purpose of your life. The next is to focus on action. If you sit back and say that everything should happen to me in my life, that's not going to happen. You have to focus on action. The fourth is that time is very important. We have a short life, maybe from birth to 100 years, maximum, maybe 120 years, sometimes, rarely, but sometimes lesser than that. So the 5th stanza says that life is not easy. It's like a battlefield. You have to constantly struggle in order to succeed. Then you have live in the present, here and now. Here means at this place, now means at this time. Here now is a very important philosophy. You might have heard it before. Here, now. Then you have how to follow great people. Great people have shown us. They are the role models, number 7 tells us. And number 8, stanza number 8 tells us how important that is to help others lead a better life. And last stanza concludes with the moral by saying if you have patience, if you have consistency, if you have perseverance, then you will become successful. So these 9 stanzas, very important, very beautiful English, especially for those of you who are learning English. Poetry helps you to learn the rhythm of the language. That is very important. Now, let us read. I shall read out to you. Tell me not in mournful numbers, mournful is sad, life is but an empty dream, for the soul is dead that slumbers, slumber is to sleep, and things are not what they seem. So he says some people keep saying, oh, life is a dream, there is no reality, life is useless. So if you are like that, then don't be. That is the first stanza with 4 lines. numbers with slumbers, dream with seem. So first and third line end in the same sound, second and fourth line end in the same sound. This is called a lyrical poem because it's musical. Lyre is a musical instrument, so lyrical, musical. Now you have the second one. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. These are words from the Christian theology, that the body is made out of dust, and when you die, they bury you and it becomes dust again. So dust thou art, to dust returnest. He says, no, that is only for the body. But what about your soul? For your soul, the meaning of life, the meaning of existence is very important. Therefore, the purpose of life is not just to think that, life is useless. You have to think that life has some use. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way. So he says, don't be worried about joy, don't be worried about sorrow. At this time, Americans were deeply influenced by Indian philosophy. This is exactly what is there in Bhagavad Gita, where Sri Krishna talks about it. I'm sure all of you know that Oppenheimer recited the Bhagavad Gita shloka when he tested the atom bomb. So these are all influences you find. So he says, don't be worried about joy and sorrow is our destined end or way. Don't think joy is the end or sorrow is all you have in life, but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today. So tomorrow we should have gone ahead, we should have progressed, we should have become better. All of you who are learning, this is a wonderful lesson for all of you, because unless we progress every day, we cannot improve. Then we come to the fourth stanza, which speaks about time. Art is long and time is fleeting. Art is artificiality, something which is only created by the human being. That can last forever. You make a painting, after you're dead, the painting is still there. But time is running away, fleeting, it passes quickly. And our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave. So what are we doing? With every heartbeat, we are moving towards the end of our life, funeral march, the last journey of the physical body. So he says, don't be like that. Why are you doing this? Why are you wasting your time like this? You cannot do that. Now we come to then what is the meaning of life? Life, he says, is like a battle. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bio of life, be not like dumb driven cattle, be a hero in the strife. So what you should do is, you have to constantly fight all the challenges that come to you. You should not escape. You should not run away. By fighting these, you will go ahead. So in the battlefield of life, you become better if you take that challenge. That difficulties are coming to me, that makes me stronger and better. Not say, oh, my life is so difficult and I cannot go ahead. Then we come to number 6. Trust no future. Don't worry about the future. We keep thinking, oh, what will I do tomorrow? What will I do 5 years, 10 years later? That's good for your career graph, but it does not help you because you are losing time for action. However pleasant, let the dead past bury its dead. There's a famous quotation from this line, from this poem. Act in the living present. I told you, here, now, act in the living present. Heart within and God overhead. So have hope in your heart and trust in God who is above you. Now we come to number 7, which is quoted fully. All the 4 lines are quoted everywhere. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. So sands of time, time keeps moving. If you put anything on the sand, then it gets washed away. But there are prints of great people who are there in the history. Sands of time is in the pages of history. So when you see this life, when you see, you see the footprints of these great people, they act as inspiration. And we can go ahead in life if we have inspiration. Without inspiration, we cannot go ahead. Then we come. Footprints, how do they help us? These footprints, these ideas which great people have given us to follow whatever they have done. That perhaps another sailing over life's solemn main. You are going through the road with life as a journey. And what happens? You find that somebody who looks at these footprints, you are very depressed, you're very disheartened. Suddenly you see an inspiring life. I've given you many videos on inspiring lives. They help us to make our lives better. A forlorn and shipwrecked brother. A brother is another human being. Forlorn, very sad, lost completely, and shipwrecked. You have lost everything which you had. You are now drowning in the sea of difficulties, sorrows. Seeing shall take heart again. So those footprints of great people might give hope to somebody who has lost all interest in life, who feels that life has become terribly difficult. So it helps a lot. It helps all of us. Now we come to the last of them. Let us then be up and doing. Now that means don't sit quietly. Don't waste your time. Get up and start doing something. With a heart for any fate. Whether we get success or failure, keep trying. Don't give up trying. Still achieving, still pursuing. As we go ahead, we might achieve something, or we might keep following our dreams, our goals. Learn to labor and to wait. So work hard. Don't sit idle. And then after working hard, wait for the result. Don't get impatient. Don't think that as soon as I do something, something good should come. So these are the 9 stanzas of which I gave you a framework first, and then I read it out to you. Read it many times. Learn the rhythm of the poem and also the difficult words to improve your vocabulary. Learn the philosophy of inspiration, hope, and hard work, which Longfellow is giving you, along with faith. Unless you have faith, all your hard work is of no use. So these points you keep in mind when you read this poem. Let me know how you liked it and what you learned, how it benefited you, because your feedback is very important. I hope you have liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done it. Press the bell icon so that you get notifications. Like and hype the video and share it as widely as you can. Join the channel as a member to attend all the live classes I conduct and also to get other benefits. Thank you and all the best.